Welcome back at 6:43 on your Wednesday morning. A lot of us go a little overboard with our spending for the holidays. Then that credit card bill shows up and it's kind of painful to read, right? So since it's resolution season anyway, today we're setting some financial resolutions for the new year. Vic Russell's here from Apprisen to help guide the way. Vic, good to see you, my friend.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, that went quick.
But before we get into all your advice, just in general, how important is it to take every once in a while, whether it's at the beginning of the year or whenever, to take a good hard look at your finances, where you actually are?
Well, I think especially this year coming up, Steve, 2023, with the financial experts saying that we might be in some type of recession. They don't know if it's going to be a full-blown one. They think it's going to be a mild one. But you can't have that debt dragging you down, especially if you're facing maybe increased unemployment in the future during a recession. And you have to have that safety net that we'll talk about in a little bit too. But it really right now, it's paramount. You know, we talk about it every year. You know, it's one of your financial resolutions. Take a look at your debt, see how it's treating you. If you got a high credit score, you know, there's options that you can look at to get that debt either consolidated or, you know, talk to our agency about maybe programs that are available to get that debt controlled and reduced quickly so your credit score does go up. So especially this year, I think it's extremely important because you don't want your money servicing debt during a challenging economy.
Oh, absolutely. So your first tip, and this is, I found this one really interesting. Most of us have heard of dry January when it comes to alcohol.
Yeah.
You're saying maybe it's not the worst thing to have a little bit of a dry January when it comes to your spending habits, then, right?
Let's go financially dry, all right, in January. Because, you know, like you said, you prefaced this conversation by saying, you know, we probably still overspent during the holidays. Consumer spending was still up during the holidays. And a lot of people, you know, admitted that they were going to use credit to do it because they just didn't have the money available because of inflation being high. So if they overdid it with credit, then take a step back, reassess your situation, and take a look and see where all your high interest debt is at, and take some action to address it because it's going to drag, like I said, on your ability to save money and take care of everyday expenses. Average rate on an interest card, average interest rate on a credit card right now is 19%, which is even going higher because the Federal Reserve keeps increasing interest rates. So those rates are going to go higher. So that's the type of debt that you don't want to carry. $2,000 credit card balance, if you're just making the minimum payment and you say, I'm just going to make the minimum payment and we're going to use it again, still 20 years to repay. 20 to 25 years. So, you know, it's the way the payments are set up. So you can't have that kind of long-term debt dragging on you.
Yeah, when you explain it that way, it's just kind of mind-blowing.
Shocking.
Your next point is improving your credit and working on that debt-to-income ratio.
Yeah, and this goes right along the lines of taking a look at your debt situation. So let's use an example. Let's say you got $2,000 a month coming in. That's clear. Okay, that's after taxes. All right. So your debt payments, okay, to car payments, to credit cards, student loans, when they come back in you know, vogue, which is June or July, I believe. Okay, any type of debt that you have that's not mortgage or rent related, your payment should be no more than $200 to $300 a month. You know, that's putting the dollars to the percentages. Okay, at 15 to 18%. So you're kind of nice in that area. If you start going over 20% debt to income ratio, you're in trouble because you've got way too much money servicing debt and you can't offset the inflation that we're still going through. Even though it's coming down, living essentials are still high.
Yeah. Well, plus, I mean, you mentioned a safety net earlier too. A lot of people don't have any. So how far in advance should we ideally have?
Yeah, so during a recession, you know, if we get into one, and even, you know, in general, you should have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up. Okay, 3 months, great. If you can get to 6 months, that's fantastic. But when we say living expenses, we're just talking about what it takes to live. Keep a roof over your head, transportation to get back and forth to work, food, you know, home entertainment now. You know, since we come into the COVID period, I call it home entertainment. It's not cable anymore.
Yeah, it's
whatever
true.
you're doing with home entertainment.
Whatever it is, your 84 streaming services.
Whatever you did to make it work. You know, those are your living expenses that you have to make sure you have in reserve. Because if you become unemployed because of a recession, you know, and we may be facing one, then you have to have that as a cushion to fall back on.
Yeah, and the last point too, kind of to your point, is the controllable expenses, and entertainment budget would be one of them, right?
That's exactly right. And you know what we've seen are the restaurants are doing well. People are going out to eat more. It's not a big surprise. We were all clamped up there during COVID, and now we're getting out more. But you got to have to taper that off too as well. Financially dry, right, is what we're talking about in January. So reassess your situation. If you need help with that, please contact our agency. We have immediate phone counseling available too, so you can just contact one of our counselors right away and talk about your situation with them.
There you go. We have a graphic made with all the information on how to get a hold of the folks at Apprisen. Vic, great stuff
Stay on
as
top,
always.
yeah.
Happy New Year.
Year's, right.
Appreciate it. All right, trivia is coming up next. Let's take a look at today's question. Give us a buzz.